Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope you all are well. I know how I've been talking to y'all about 15-minute cities and smart cities, but I discovered in my research that there is another type of city, and it's called a C40 city. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It's the same agenda. It's just the money bag people run the C40 um, cities. Like it's just a totally different connection of people, same agenda. Uh, and I really can't tell you what the difference is between the cities. I think I'm understanding what the difference is between the cities. It just seems like the larger, more popular cities tend to be C40 cities. And then the regular old country cities or just smaller cities, like, I read from the list of the Sustainable and Local Government's website, uh, they have a totally different type of city. Well, I won't even say that because there were some pretty big counties and big metropolitan cities and areas that were also on the list. So I'm not sure what really makes up the difference. What's the difference between the people that are affiliated with one organization or the other? It just might be a bunch of tentacles with the same goal, trying to make sure they cover a whole lot of different things at one time. So I want to talk to you about this particular C40 agenda because it plays right into the same thing about the digitalization of our society and how our cities are going to be transformed into something that is unrecognizable. Basically, going to be having smart ghettos. Let's get into it. About C40. C40 is a network of mayors of nearly 100 world leading cities collaborating to deliver the urgent action needed right now to confront the climate crisis. And so everything you hear when it talks about sustainable development is still going to be tied to the climate agenda, the climate crisis. Together, we create a future where everyone, everywhere can thrive. This is the defining decade for humanity. So they're letting you know this is the defining decade. Basically sounds like the last one too, right? All right. What we do today will determine whether or not there is a thriving future for our communities, our cities, and the natural world around us. We know that climate breakdown and rising inequality, compounded by the uh, Cootie Bug 19 event, require an unprecedented response to match the scale of crises. That's why C40's mission is to have the emissions of its member cities within a decade, while improving equity, building resilience, and creating the conditions for everyone everywhere to thrive. They have not done that since we all been cities and since the dominant society has been running the world. So there's no need. If they created something else for us to beat to, it's not going to work because nothing they do works. Everything they do is counter nature. It's unnatural, and so it doesn't work. And instead of them, saying, okay, well, this doesn't work. Let's decrease some of the stuff that we've done and go back to the old ways. They just keep trying to create new schemes to buy more time. And it's just like, moving chairs on the Titanic. That's basically what we're doing. Mayors of C4 cities are on the leading edge of climate action, and we're deploying a science based and collaborative approach to help the world limit global heating by 1.5 degrees Celsius and build healthy, equitable, and resilient communities. C40 member cities earn their membership through action. So you got to do some stuff. You just can't join this. Notice they have a little black girl here because cities and urban, it's really, at the end of the day, it's about us. Israel, y'all know it's about us. So here, our vision, ours is a vision of climate action that is rooted in equity because we know that climate, social, and economic justice can only be achieved together. Notice that they have been drilling in our heads about climate justice and climate change. social justice and social change, economic justice and economic change, economic advances for everybody, equitable, equality. All of those things, you know, we've been fighting for, we thought meant one thing. They put it in the atmosphere for us to pick up and carry so we can be familiar with these words. And they've allowed us to carry their message. And so now they can shape it. You know, they can take these words and we're doing exactly what they wanted us to do. They play the long game and we don't know because we don't really understand how words work, and we don't understand how our enemy uses words to dominate us. The change we need can be delivered through our chair's vision for a global Green New Deal. Now, you remember AOC and Bernie Sanders have been talking about this Green New Deal, Green New Deal, Green New Deal, Green New Deal. And you're just like, what is that? Why we got to do that? What does that even mean? Now, we know the old deal didn't work for Black people. So the Green New Deal ain't going to work for Black people either. Trust and believe it's not. But, you know, my point is that they have been drilling these things in our psyche for a long time. And so now here they are. This is a part of the beast infrastructure. And this is what it's going to be centered around. Us feeling sorry for the earth, us being remorseful for what we did, even though we didn't do nothing. They did all the stuff, but they're blaming us for it. And then us changing our behavior while they don't change anything about themselves at all. Where mayors are working alongside a broad coalition of representatives from labor, business, and the youth climate movement and civil society to go further and faster than ever before. Notice what is missing from the table are citizens. So they got the youth climate movement, civil society, labor, business, but not people. People are never ever asked about what they want because they know we don't want this stuff. So just pay attention to the fact that they keep talking about what they're doing unless you know that we are not at the table. They're not working with us either. The Global Green New Deal is our essential blueprint to delivering climate justice and strong, fairer economies that serve everyone. An integral part of building thriving communities is ensuring that we have a sustainable and just recovery from the Cutibug 19 event. Collaboration has always been in C40's DNA. In a crisis, it is needed more than ever. They're telling you a crisis is coming and they're going to have to collaborate. And collaboration through climate will make them already set up for any other thing that's coming. So here they're going to tell you about the history, and I'll just share from 2005. So notice this was founded in 2005 with 18 megacities. In 2006, the C40 steering committee invited a further 22 mayors to join. Ensuring balance from the global south. That means they want to get the Africa and South America and the Caribbean in on the thing. Creating an organization of 40 cities, and thus the name C40. That year, President Bill Clinton's, Democrat Bill Clinton's climate initiative became our implementing partner on world-class climate action projects. So you see how these folks be doing all mannerism of stuff and they dress it up. They've been planning this stuff long time ago. It's 2006, which means probably since like 1996, they have been working on it. And they had to have been working on it during President Clinton's administration. 2007, Mayor of New York City, Michael R. Bloomberg, who hosted the second C40 summit, bringing together 36 mayors from major global cities, business, and civil society, but no citizens. And then in 2010, Bloomberg was elected chair of C40. During his tenure, he pioneered C40's data-driven approach, and he has continued working to expand C40's impact in the global climate fight. 2011, C40 announced a formal merger between C40 and CCI's Cities program, forged by President Clinton and C40 Chair Michael R. Bloomberg. That's it. With funding from Bloomberg Philanthropies. It's over. It is over. So, you know, I'm not going to keep going through all this stuff, but I just want to show you how these things have been forming for a long time. So let me show you the cities. So around the world, C40 mayors in the cities they lead take climate action that aligns with science-based targets. They work together across borders in order to protect people and communities everywhere and build a more sustainable, resilient, equitable future. So here you can see all the cities. I'm going to go to North America. Austin, Texas, Boston, Chicago, Houston, LA, Miami, Montreal, New Orleans, New York City, Philly, Phoenix, Portland, San Francisco, Seattle, Toronto, Vancouver, and DC. So these C40 cities could be near you. Those cities are going to influence other cities. So it's just going to be like it's just going to be like a virus. I guess that's the best way to say it. You're going to have these smart cities, and then they will spread because they're going to influence people, you know, and we like to be included in stuff. So it's, oh, they're doing that over there. In order to keep you from moving over there, they're going to create the smart city where you are so that you won't go there. Basically, it's going to have little mini concentration camps everywhere, because that's at the end of the day what these places are going to be. So one other thing that I wanted to show you, let me see, I got to figure out which one of these is the right one. They had a PDF with a lot of concerning things in it, but basically, you know, it is the same type of giddy up as the 15-minute smart cities. As you can see, influencing the global agenda. So, you know, everybody's goal is to influence the globe. These are now these are elected officials initially, but then they, you know, leave office and they continue to work with these bodies and influence policy and bring in this stuff, and you don't even really know anything about it. So I want to read this. Financing the green transition. Cities play a powerful role in driving investment that can shape the transition to a greener economy and a more equitable society. C40 supports cities to divest from pensions and investments from fossil fuels, shift towards climate solutions, and advocates for investments in the future we want. So they don't really never tell you like where the money come from. But let's look. C40 is also working towards improving the supply of finance to cities, including building stronger relationships with key finance institutions and calling for public banks to step up support and for enabling policies that can improve the fiscal capacity of cities. We work closely with partners, including the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy. My word. The City Climate Finance Leadership Alliance, ICLEI, and that's that organization that I was telling you about earlier. The local governments for sustainability, and then and WRI to promote access to finance cities. And I have no idea what the WRI is because it's not mentioned any place else in this section. And again, they don't really tell you about, where the money is coming from, but I guess they kind of do. City finance facility facilitates access to finance for climate change mitigation and resilience projects in urban areas by providing technical assistance. So, they could kind of throw money at this behind the scenes and, see, this is, again, it's not a governmental entity, so it can't be controlled by us. Yet it influences policy and legislation and our politicians. Urban Shift is a global alliance that supports cities around the world to adopt integrated approaches to urban development by the Global Environment Facility led by the UN Environment Program. So that's enough said right there. You already know. In partnership with the World Bank and Asian Development Bank. Divest Invest Forum. Close partnership with London and New York City to support and connect cities interested in divesting from pension funds or city assets from fossil fuels and increasing their sustainable investment. So they want governments that have pensions, where they invest the money, to divest from fossil fuels. And then they're going to give you green energy projects that you can, without your permission, they're using your money to fund these smart city initiatives. And lastly, I wanted to share with you this thing about the food systems because it irks my nerves a little bit. Food systems. Cities have strong control over many aspects of urban food systems. And I want to talk about food because we cannot live without food, water, and shelter. You just got to have your basic necessities addressed. When you do not, you cannot survive. And so food is one of those things for Black people. Like, a lot of us already live in food deserts. So, I want to share with you the plan for these urban centers that already don't work for us. But, their goal is to make sure you be outside on the little baby plantation in your 15-minute city growing food. In the green spaces that they create, because they're going to create green spaces so y'all can get out there and work your own gardens. Cities have strong control over many aspects of urban food systems. Our work in this area helps cities to implement solutions to make it easier for people to eat more plant-based options and waste less food. They do not want you to eat meat. They want you to eat plants. You're going to be eating Soylent Green. Just saying. I know that's dramatic, but I'm just putting it out there. Every time they talk about plant-based, that's all I think about. Those nasty, stinking plant-based burgers and stuff and Soylent Green movie. So I'm sorry. Doing so will help reduce emissions, improve health and equity, and enhance climate resilience around the world. 30% of global emissions come from food systems. So they're telling you 30% of CO2 comes from food emissions. Cows, they're telling you cow poops and cow burps and chicken poop. All that stuff is bad for the environment. Animals breathe too much. You breathe too much. So we got to do something about one or the other. Maybe both, but I'm just saying. 1/3 of all food produced is waste. And 16 cities have pledged to reinvent their food systems by what date? 2030. About this sector. Our global food system is broken. 1/3 of all food is wasted, yet many people around the world suffer from food insecurity. That is not why we suffer from food insecurity. We suffer because colonizers control all the resources, and they made sure they had food, and they made sure other people didn't. Food security is among the largest drivers of the global climate crisis. Food insecurity is also one of the biggest impacts of the Cootie Bug 19 event. Most of the world's food is consumed in urban areas, giving cities the power to deliver transformative change. C40 works with cities to develop healthy, equitable, and accessible food systems that also reduce loss and waste. Well, they never put food in urban areas to begin with, never ever, since slavery was over. We never had enough grocery store resources in our communities. So you think with this, they're going to suddenly be fair and equitable and give you enough food and give you good food choices? It's just like with everything else. If they give you something, Black people, you better have your eye raised and be giving them the side eye, because they don't give us anything for nothing. Through the C40 Good Cities Accelerator, 16 cities from around the world have signed on to deliver sustainable food policies and achieve a planetary health diet for all by 2030. What the world? Oh Lord, what we got to do? Food Systems Network. So I didn't open this up, so I want to see what they say. Integrating food policies that reduce greenhouse gas emissions and increase resilience. The C40 Food Systems Network supports citywide efforts to create and implement integrated food policies that reduce greenhouse gas emissions, increase resilience, and deliver positive public health benefits outcomes. The network is led by the City of Milan and delivered in partnership with the EAT Foundation. So you got to look at these foundations and see who funds them, who created them, so on and so forth. I'm not doing that today because I'm not on that adventure, but I will do that so I can maybe compile a list and tell you who's doing what, because the money has to come from someplace and we don't have any money. So you want to always follow the money because the money tells you a lot. Focus areas. Food procurement. Using procurement for public health facilities such as school canteens, hospitals, elderly homes, civic buildings to foster more sustainable and healthy diets. They're telling you these people gonna be eating vegetables in these places. Your children gonna be eating more plants and stuff. Old people not gonna be eating meat, gonna be eating plants. Civic buildings and whatever else they want, hospitals, school canteens, like it's crazy. Food environment, transforming the social and physical environment that affect the types of food available within the neighborhood. The affordability of food and the nutrition information that people have access to. This includes food marketing to encourage and inform better consumer choices. No, that's not what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you. We already have food marketing, and they don't market anything good. They'll tell you to eat better in a poor community, but then they don't put good quality food in the community. They don't put opportunities for people to have stores to buy fresh goods, because people who own grocery stores are racist and they don't think that they're supposed to feed everybody. And Black people who have money don't care to feed Black people, because Black people, for whatever reason, don't patronize Black businesses the way that they would patronize a white business. You know, if a Black person had a grocery store, and it just reminds me of that nonprofit grocery store, that actor, I can't think of his name. It's Wendell something. I have to look it up. But anyway, he created a couple of nonprofit grocery stores, and he put them in poor Black communities. Do you know the Black people wouldn't shop at the stores, and at least one of the stores went out of business, and so one is still open. But he was really frustrated because of how we think. We think if Black people offer us something, it's not good, it's inferior, something is wrong with it. And if white people offer you something, it's better, the food is better, it tastes better, the milk is colder. Could be the same milk, come from the same dairy farm, could come from the same cow. But because it's in white folks' neighborhood, we feel like, oh, we should, go over there and get it and pay less for it instead of paying a little more for it and considering a business that is mom and pops that hires people from the community that provides us with foods that we eat in an environment that's safe and good for us. We see that as inferior, and we'll go to Publix, who in Publix don't put grocery stores in poor Black communities, period, ever. So how we think is insane, but it's one of the reasons, one of the primary reasons we're in this position that we're in, where we are going to have to deal with our captors feeding us. Food environment. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I already read that. Food waste. Addressing food loss and waste to facilitate the recovery and redistribution of food for people in need, and also implement solutions for the reuse of food waste. Woo! So in the green. Regenerative agriculture. Promoting regenerative urban agriculture to increase security, decrease production emissions, and close yield gaps. That means they're basically going to be growing food in petri dishes and in labs and giving them to you. That's what that is. Regenerative agriculture. It's a nice name for lab grown food. Governance. Supporting cities to develop food strategies, include food systems in their climate action plans, and food boards and councils for interdepartmental and external coordination. And this is why I'm encouraging everybody to grow their own food. You better learn how to grow something. You better learn how to hunt. Not that, I don't know whether the environment is going to be conducive to hunting or anything flying in the sky foul for you to have to hunt, or fish. The water may be contaminated, so there may not be any fish. But as long as the sun is shining and it rains, whether they control the rain or whether it's God's rain, raining down on us, there will be a way and an opportunity for you to grow your own food. You need to learn how to grow your own food. The Food Systems Network has had a fundamental role in the success of C40, Good Food Cities Accelerator, where leading cities helped develop the ambition of science-based targets. The commitment was launched at the 2019 C40 Global Mayors Summit and co-signed by 14 cities who agreed to work with their residents toward achieving a planetary health diet for all by 2030. So how can 14 cities decide they're going to create a diet for us based on the climate, but not on our bodies and our climates where we live? It just doesn't make any sense. With balanced and nutritious food reflective of the culture, geography, and demography of their residents. How? When it's just 14 cities. I'm sorry about that beeping. I have something outside in my backyard because I'm trying to get my garden done. So there's some things going on, and there's a camera back there. So the little notification is going off. Sorry about that. Align food procurement to the planetary health diet, ideally sourced from organic agriculture. Supporting the overall increase of healthy plant-based food consumption in cities by shifting away from unsustainable healthy diets. So they don't want you to have ho-hos and soda, because that's CO2. You'll be drinking more water-based stuff without sugar in it, of course. You will be eating less meat. You won't have steak and chicken and turkey and all the stuff that we're accustomed to having. You will be eating plant-based food. And notice they say plant-based, not plants. or plant diet, plant-based, which means it's going to be a combination of plants and other things, but not meat. Reduce food loss and waste by 50% from a 2015 baseline. So that means they've already been working on this, y'all. Within 2 years of endorsing the accelerator, this worked with residents, businesses, public institutions, and other organizations to develop a joint strategy for implementing these measures and achieving these goals inclusively, equitably, and incorporating this strategy into climate action plans. So this is one of the only times they talk about working with residents. And by then, it's like everything really is already in place. They're just asking you to spread the word. Each city developed an action plan, including baseline figures and environmental, health, social, and economic co-benefits, which, where available, I'm sorry, let me read that again. Each city developed an action plan, including baseline figures and environmental, health, social, and economic co-benefits, where available, which will be regularly updated. Read the city action plans, learn more about the Good Food Cities Accelerator. So anyway, I'm going to get off of this site because it's so much. And notice how difficult it is to learn like where these people are. Like they don't tell you where this organization is. They just have a hub, they meet places, like it's real secret squirrel. Look at all these people. Y'all know who not on this list? Us and folks. You know why? Because us and folks know this stuff ain't right. But anywho, I just wanted to show y'all the pictures of the people who are doing all these things. Oh, let me go back to leadership. The leadership. Who is the chair now? The lackey from London. We'll talk about him on another day. The steering committee. Let's look at the steering committee. Gotta look at the people. Gotta look at the people. Look. 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 Not us. Not us. Y'all ever wonder why they don't ever invite y'all to be a part of these things? I'm gonna just leave this with y'all. Because we different. We're different. We're not like the rest of these people. That's why we have our own laws, statutes, and commandments, especially specifically for us. This is why we have our own diet. This is why we are supposed to live set apart. This is why we are supposed to come out of the world, because we are different from the world. We're not like them. And they know we are not like them, which is why they never invite us to be a part of any of these things, unless we are sold out and a biscuit eater, like, you know, the kind they know they can depend on to do their bidding. We are not like these people. And so we need to come out of this world and come out from among them so that we can get back to who we are, relearn our own customs and values and culture and laws and statutes and commandments, because this stuff is not going to help nobody. Nothing that they've ever done has helped anybody. But we are in the places where they're trying to implement all of these changes, and we will be impacted, and it's going to be devastating for a lot of our people because we're not aware of what's going on. So C40 cities are here. They are I would say, incubators and examples or different type of operation or infrastructure of the smart city. But all these different things, you know, each name or each group has a different role in developing the infrastructure for this beast system that's coming online. Pay attention to what's happening. Again, it's happening in your local area. All this stuff is local. You know, they're targeting mayors. Why? Because mayors are in charge of cities, not states, not regions, specific cities, and they can impact, you know, everything in a particular city. So, you know, you need to find out if your mayors are planning on becoming members of these organizations, and ask why. And, you know, talk to them. Hey, y'all didn't ask us if we want to do this stuff. We don't want this. But if you don't, you know, silence is consent. So, you know, I'm even looking now to, you know, see what is going on in our area. Who's co-signing this stuff? I haven't seen our city appear on any list, but it doesn't mean it's not coming, because this agenda is happening really fast. Cities are joining every day. You're seeing, you know, development happening every day, and you don't know what's behind it. So with that said, you know, please pay attention to what's happening. Continue to prepare. Get out of those urban areas. Get out of areas, you know, far enough away from those urban areas where whatever happens there won't impact you. And whenever people try to escape and do whatever, because once all hell breaks loose, it's just, they're going to be there. You'll be far enough away from it where you won't feel it as much. But we're all going to experience this, because it doesn't even matter if you move to a rural area. It's controlled by somebody, because we don't live in a free society here in America or in the West in general. So you know, you got to watch, you got to pay attention. But again, don't have fear. Knowledge is power. And we perish because of a lack of knowledge. And so, you know, just take all this stuff, put it together, and prepare how you're going to navigate, because we got to endure to the end. You can't endure to the end if you don't know what pitfalls are coming. You don't know if they're dropping a bomb on your head. You don't know if they're going to, you know, withhold food from you and your children, and you don't want to be going and signing up and doing, you know, doing things that will cause you to be ensnared because you're not prepared. We were given all the signs. We were told to keep watch, and we were told to get knowledge. So if you're not doing those three things right now and during these troubling times, you're asking for trouble. All right, y'all. Like the video, share it. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure that the bell notification is selected, and that you select the all option so that you'll get all notifications when I release new content. Also, please join the Rumble channel and the Odyssey channel that I have. It's in the description, because I may get booted from this platform at any time because they don't like us talking about this type of stuff. It is a part of the infrastructure system. We're just using it now, using their evil for our good, but the day is coming where we will not be able to communicate. So you must be prepared to fend for yourself. And I'm just telling you this information so you can fend for yourself when the time comes. All right, y'all. Y'all take care, and I'm out.